Hey everyone, we have the beautiful Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard right here in San Francisco. And you already said aloha. Aloha from all of us here in San Francisco.
It's great to be here.
And you are the first woman to be in the US state legislature at the age of 21, which I believe is a big, big achievement for any kid to do, not just for a woman, you know. So what do you think is the greatest legislation you participated in and you are proud because of the big impact it had?
Oh gosh, there were a number of issues that we worked on there during my time, many of which had to do with protecting our environment, making sure that we have clean water, clean air, and a safe place to live. I'm grateful to have served at the state legislature in Hawaii, to have served on the Honolulu City Council, as well as to have served now in the United States Congress for over 6 years, with over 15 years in the Army National Guard. So being able to serve our country on so many levels gives me a unique experience and qualification to serve you as your President and Commander-in-Chief.
Awesome. So what is one big thing about Republicans that you really want to condemn and you would have done really differently for sure?
You know, this is bigger than party politics. What I'm doing is offering to serve every person in this country and to promise to put the well-being of people ahead of politics, put the people ahead of corporate profits, ahead of special interests, and really make this focus on serving the people and protecting our planet at the forefront of all the decisions that we've made. It's more important for us to look forward to see how we can best do that and come together as a country to accomplish that.
Awesome. So when we look at USA, you know, we always look at China because we are indebted to them financially, and we also look at them as a manufacturing hub which gives us the lowest cost. How do you think we can increase the financial security in the United States and have lesser dependency on nations like China?
Just like with China, I think overall with many other countries in the world, we have to look for where are those areas of opportunity where we share common interests, where we can cooperate, and obviously if there are issues that we need to deal with, that we need to address, we need to do so. But across the board, we can make more progress when we approach other countries with that view of cooperation rather than just one country winning and the other losing. We have far too much in common interest that we share.
What is your final message to your India TV viewers who are watching you around the world?
Thank you for watching. If you have friends and family all across this country, we need the support of every single person. Make a contribution at tulsi2020.com. If you are an American citizen or a permanent resident, so that we can have a place on the debate stage to talk about these important issues.
Awesome, and we wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much.
On your first question, healthcare is the #1 issue that's facing every person in this country. It is my view that here in the United States of America, someone who is sick should be able to get the care that they need, regardless of how much money they make. I'm a supporter of the Medicare for All legislation. I think that there are further elements of that legislation that we need to fill out to make sure that we meet that objective of making sure that every person gets the care that they need. On your second question about impeachment, I actually agree with her. We cannot allow our country to continue to be divided. In order to do that, I need all of your help to get me elected so we can defeat Donald. If this decision...
So the experiences that I have of serving as a soldier for almost 15 years, of being deployed to the Middle East and seeing and experiencing firsthand the cost of war and the consequences of the failed policies of this country directly, firsthand. I am not someone who is going to go into the White House and sit back and rely on the foreign policy establishment in Washington to tell me what to do. I don't have to. differentiates me from every other candidate who's running for president right now is because I'm walking in on day one with that experience, both as a soldier directly, but also as a member of Congress who served on the Armed Services and Foreign Affairs committees for years, who's engaged with leaders of other countries, who's held the feet to the fire of people like the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I'm not intimidated by the stars that someone wears on their shoulders. I'm not intimidated by the military-industrial complex and what they're pushing for. I'm not running for president to be president. I'm running for president to be able to bring about this sea change in our foreign policy that is so necessary for us and for the world, and I'm most qualified to do that. We cannot forget or underestimate the power that we have in our own hands. And we cannot take lightly the threats that we face and the urgent need for us to stand up, speak out, and make sure that our voices are heard now. Not tomorrow, not next year, not in 5 years or 10 years, now. Our future is in our hands. I ask for your support. Thank you so much. Aloha.
So we need to make sure that we build a strong middle class. We work on the infrastructure, because anytime we work on infrastructure, that is money that will stay within this country. That is money that's trapped in the economy. It's not something that's going to a foreign war where we never get the returns, we never get the money back, and it's always a draining pit. Look at all the wars we've gone through. None of them has been successful, and we're still in a worse situation now than we ever were. So having said that, I want to welcome Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard and have her say a few words.
When we stand together, motivated by a care for each other and love for this country, we can bring about real criminal justice reform. We can invest in our education system, make sure that our teachers have what they need to give our kids a good education. We can make sure that we are investing in our planet. We're investing in our future, protecting our environment, addressing the climate crisis that we are facing, making smart choices about a sustainable green economy that will serve every one of us and will serve generations to come. These are issues that are important to every single one of us, that impact our lives in one way or another. But in order to make this change, it will require us, we the people, standing up and really carrying out the vision that our founders had for us. That vision of a government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
These are things that are happening all across this country, and people's voices are not being heard about how our failing infrastructure is directly impacting our health and well-being. Passing a big infrastructure bill and making those investments should be something that is a bipartisan concern because it impacts every community in this country. Now, if you look at people in Washington and say, well, look, there's just not enough money. There's just not enough money to make sure that people have clean water to drink. There's just not enough money to make sure that our roads are safe to drive on, that our bridges are not going to fail us. There's just not enough money. But these are the very same people who continue to vote for and to advocate for spending trillions of dollars on wasteful regime change wars or nuclear weapons that make us less safe, that increase suffering in the people in the countries where we wage these wars, that strengthen terrorist groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda undermining our own national security, what to speak of the cost that is borne by our men and women in uniform. So you ask what I will change. I will change our priorities in this country and set them right so we stop wasting trillions of all of our dollars on these wasteful, counterproductive wars and dedicate them to rebuilding our infrastructure, to taking care of these urgent needs that we have in communities all across this country. You will hear a lot of empty promises from politicians about all of the great things that they want to do for you. But unless you have someone in the White House who has that courage and that experience and leadership to bring about that change so that we are taking those trillions of dollars and bringing them here, then those promises will remain empty and unfulfilled. That's the change that I'm bringing and that I'm offering to you. Thank you.
She decided to resign from that leadership position as the vice chair of the Democratic National Committee, speaking about DNC's bias. And this was actually much before that bias became public. When I saw that, I could tell this woman is bold. This woman is bold. I mean, she's not looking at polling data. She's not looking at how would this work out. Hillary was sort of destined to be, if I may, I'm going a little off script, she was meant to be our president. But she was pretty clear in terms of where she stood. When Tulsi sees something wrong, she will express her mind on it. And that's the kind of president we need, I believe. So is Tulsi the one who has introduced legislation, the Stop Arming Terrorist Act, which would prohibit federal funding for Al-Qaeda, the Jabhat Fateh al-Sham, and ISIS? The one who firmly recognizes Pakistan's support of terrorism and has worked in Congress to cut back US assistance for Pakistan and increase pressure to prevent tacit and overt support for terrorism. That's Tulsi. And is she a vegetarian, a practicing Hindu, practices Karma Yogi, the first Hindu ever elected to Congress, who follows Gaudiya Vaishnavism, founded by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the first to get sworn in on the Bhagavad Gita. Yes, this is Tulsi, our first female United States President of the United States and from Hawaii. So with all our Aloha spirit, let us welcome Tulsi Gabbard!
A round of applause for your councilman here, Rishi Kumar. The challenges that we're facing did not begin just in 2016 after the election. Yes, there are a whole host of issues that President Trump has brought forward that have been harmful to the people of this country, but there are issues that have spanned for a very long time that have still yet to be addressed. So what I want to share with you is what is at the root cause of this? How is it possible that we have leaders in this country, leaders from both parties, who don't actually end up solving these challenges, leading us to that better place? It is because of this corruption of spirit that is unfortunately deeply seated within Washington, where it is special interests and corporations and politicians who are serving their interests rather than serving the interests of the people. April, for me, makes the 15th year anniversary of when I enlisted in the Army National Guard. And so in April 15 years ago was when I raised my right hand and I made a promise to serve our country, to protect and uphold our Constitution, and to be willing to put my life on the line to do so, to put service before self. This is a promise that every one of our service members has made. It is these values of service before self, of honor and integrity and respect that I will bring to the White House as your president and as your commander-in-chief. Because our White House needs to be a beacon of light, of hope, and of leadership that is focused solely on putting the people first. So I've already talked about how we need to fix our priorities as a country and take the money that we're currently spending on these wasteful wars and invest them in our people here at home. Education is at the center of that. If we hope to have a promise of a strong future, we have to invest in our kids. In order to do that, we have to recognize what tools do they need to be equipped to work in this 21st century economy. A lot of the debate around immigration reform and the challenges that we deal with right now are too often had in that zero-sum kind of conversation, saying, well, we don't want people from overseas coming in and taking jobs, but not recognizing that we don't have the trained workforce to fill these positions that we need in this country to be on the cutting edge of technology in the world. This is where the responsibility lies in both government and its priorities and investment, leaders in the private sector and educators to really come together to say, how do we build this pipeline where our young people and our American people have the tools needed to fill those positions and really lead in this country. This is going to take time, unfortunately, because we're so far behind. I've seen the reports and the data and the statistics that show we are years behind our ability to meet the demands of this economy with people who are graduating from college today and kids who are going through school today. This is an urgent need to make that priority and making those investments and making them in the right way so that our kids are graduating from school and able to enter into that 21st century economy and to be successful. Thank you. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm going to make one last plug on something that Rishi mentioned. The only way that I get onto the debate stage is with your help. The DNC changed the rules during this presidential campaign, which I think is a good thing, opening it up and really putting the power into the hands of the people to determine who has a slot on that debate stage. So we need 65,000 individual contributions. We are making a lot of great progress, but we are not there yet. So as Rishi said, not only do I hope every one of you go on to Tulsi2020.com before you leave today, but look into your phones and see how many people you can also get to make a contribution of any amount to make sure that my voice is heard on that debate stage and that our campaign continues to grow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. Aloha.